and welcome aboard. This is your Captain Andrea speaking. On behalf of my crew and myself, let me wish you a safe and enjoyable trip that will last for about a lesson.
Please fasten your seatbelts and do not get up from your seats until we're completely airborne. Please note.
Volvo, how many times have you visited Mexico? Well, did you know that Mexico is home to one of the oldest civilizations in the Western Hemisphere? The Aztecs lived in central Mexico. They migrated into the Valley of Mexico as early as the 1100s. Learning to grow corn and acquiring other skills from their neighbors, the Aztecs developed a powerful civilization. They developed a calendar and constructed pyramids. They also built a capital called Tenochtitlan in an island of Lake Texcoco. They built their island capital in 1325. As many as 300,000 Aztecs lived in the capital. Castaways, or paved roads over water, connected the island capital to the mainland. The king, his family, and thousands of servants and officials lived in the capital. The island capital also had a library and a zoo.
The Aztecs had a strong, secure, central government. This helped provide stability and allowed the empire to thrive. At the top of this government was the royal family, headed by the emperor or the king. This emperor appointed various authorities to rule different regions of his empire. These leaders swore allegiance to the emperor himself. This emperor maintained his control over his empire through the use of his vast and powerful army. How would you like to make your neighbor's backyard your own property? Well, that's what the Aztecs did. Around 1400, the Aztec population began conquering neighbors. The Aztecs had grown. They needed many things to manage their growing population. They needed new cities to house their population, new food to feed their people, and they needed new captives to feed their hungry gods. Schools needed to be run, storehouses needed to be built, temples needed to be built. The Aztec government had its hands full trying to satisfy all of these needs.
When the Aztecs conquered the tribe, they demanded tribute in the form of food, clothing, precious stones, building supplies, and captives. First war, the Aztecs kept for themselves. The last they gave to their gods. Other tribes hated and feared the Aztecs. Sometimes they simply ran away in fear rather than stay and fight. The Aztecs had an emperor, a king, who ruled all over the people. The emperor lived in an imperial palace in the capital city of Tenochtitlan. The palace was huge. It even had its own zoo. The ground floor of the palace housed government offices and the shops of the most talented craftsmen in the whole Aztec Empire. The birth of a boy or girl was celebrated. The Aztecs were very concerned that all their citizens behaved correctly. This code of behavior was written down, and it was a law. Aztec children taught correct behavior in the schools. The Aztecs loved games. They loved to give people a sporting chance. Some of the games they played included a ball game, similar to the one played by the ancient Maya. To build the city they wanted, they knew they would need many engineers, builders, and traders. To solve this problem, the Aztecs created schools for their children. Every child had to attend school, even girls and slaves. The Aztecs were the only people in this time in history to have free schools that every child had to attend by law. And you spoiled little kids who attend private schools like Bambi Academy won't understand.
School was tough. There was no recess or time to relax in school. But all schools included instruction in song and in dance. Not because it was just beautiful art, because in songs and dances were important to the religious festivals. There were 3 different schools. One school was for girls, 2 schools were for boys. Girls learned about their religion. They learned how to cook, sew, weave, and how to care for their children. One school was for the nobles and sons of wealthy traders and merchants. Students were taught how to speak well. They learned about their history and of their religious beliefs. This This was a tough school.
Let's talk about Aztec's woman, a woman's journey. Gracias, gracias, thank you. How many of you know a little something about Aztecs? I see not many of you. The life of an Aztec woman was very boring and even. Every day was like the one before and nothing really changed. From the moment they were born, they were told with the qualities of being respectful, hardworking, quiet, and obedient. Their tasks in life were to marry, have children, and run the household. For Mexican society, the central part of family life was the household. The mother, the wife, and their job was to be devoted and give all their energy to the smooth running of the house. There were lives of quiet, and their destiny was laid out for them. Aztec women were not given many choices. As soon as they were born, they were told softly, "You must be in the house. You must be in the house as the heart is in the body. You must be like ashes in the herd."
Probably the most discussed part of Aztec religion was the human sacrifice. To the Aztec, cosmic balance in their own life would not be possible without offering sacrificial blood to the forces of life and fertility, such as the sun, the rain, and the earth. Thus, in Aztec myth, the gods sacrificed themselves for a newly created sun to move in its path. The offering of children to the water gods was considered overpayment for the water and crops.
Bet you didn't know what the Aztec liked most in culture. The answer is music. Aztec music was a constant and important part of life. Not only was Aztec music used for enjoyment, it was a way of passing on culture, of sharing an understanding of religion. When a child was sent to school, music and the playing of instrument was an important subject to be learned. Students between 12 and 15 would learn songs that were important in their culture. Dasha, Vova, do you think that the Aztec clothes were like yours today? Not even close. Let's continue to find out. The Aztec clothing was generally loose-fitting and did not completely cover the body. When the Spanish arrived in Mexico, people were surprised to see them in full armor, only their faces exposed. Aztec hairstyles. According to codex, the Aztecs had a wide range of hairstyles worn by people throughout the empire. Hope you, boys and girls, understood and enjoyed what the Aztecs were like. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Art was very important to the Aztecs. It was also an important religious craft and a means for paying tribute to their gods. In addition, various forms of Aztec art were used in communication. These beautiful designs are still admired today. Pictographs, paintings, and warrior drawings can still be seen on the walls of their temples and within their ancient artisans. Aztec art and pottery. Now I will tell you about pottery. Pottery was very useful in Aztec everyday life. It was also an important religious craft. Pottery of all shapes, sizes, and designs were very meaningful to the Aztec culture and religion. Designs typically depicted an Aztec god or represented an Aztec tribe.
People had special holidays for all their gods, but they had the great festival every 52 years. Their two calendars overlapped, and the years ended on the same day. Their normal calendar was 365 days like ours. Those 5 days were bad days, and they hardly did anything, and sometimes didn't even eat. Their normal calendar was 260 days. That told those simple times to worship, farm, and get married. They had tons of gods, and most holidays were worshipped. One of the gods was Tlaloc, god of rain and war. Дождик, в Мексике идет долгожданный дождик. Радуйся, народ, долгожданный дождик. Это просто рай, долгожданный providing overwatered and sustenance, will be celebrating during this time of the year in hopes of rain to fall. During this time of the year, the people decorate poles with banners and erect them in the temple district and courtyards of private homes. Aztec people will pray to the gods for rain to pour down.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, our trip of time and space is coming to an end.
In a few moments, we're going to be landing in New York. We have relatively good visibility, and the temperature outside is 33 degrees Fahrenheit.
We want to take this opportunity to thank you for flying with us.
Thank